With this video, I want to introduce a concept within entrepreneurship, which is social entrepreneurship. This is same old entrepreneurship, but with added value to some cause. Let's say your cause that you are passionate about is to save the reindeer, or maybe something a little more maybe pertinent. How about curing children's cancer? Just about everyone in the world can get behind that. But what if your business is like selling shoes or something? How can you? It doesn't make sense, right? But today, many entrepreneurs want and are passionate about some cause. They want to improve some cause. And a lot of times people start their business precisely so that this business can help to improve some cause. So let's talk about all the nuances of social entrepreneurship. A very common example, perhaps the most widely cited example of social entrepreneurship is, you might have heard of this brand, Tom's Shoes. It's kind of a regular shoe. I don't have much fashion sense, but even like I wouldn't wear it. It's a little bit like bummy looking, like if you're extra hipster, you might, I don't know. But you might correct me. You might say, Alex, you have no idea what real fashion is. Fine, that's true. In any case, they got famous and they were known because they were donating a part of every sale to some cause. And customers really got behind that. They thought, whoa, instead of giving my money to some random shoe company, which is, just a part of the wheel of capitalism, which I kind of like capitalism, but some people don't. Those people who don't like capitalism, they're like, oh, well, maybe I can actually buy from a brand who donates to some nice cause. And so Tom's got really famous through that because they were early and they were very savvy about getting publicity from that and getting all that marketing, extra attention from that other strategy. And of course, they benefited their cause a lot because they sold a lot of shoes. Now, the mistake I see is many first-time entrepreneurs, they have great intentions. I want to help my community. I want to help this cause. I want to help that cause. My heart thinks like, wow, this is really good. I want you to succeed. Of course. But then I think, okay, well, you have no business model. And if you're just starting with the premise like, I want to help the reindeer, but you have no business, you might even just lose money that you could have donated directly to some other organization. So you actually could do worse with starting a business if your business just fails. So the real key is to have a fundamentally strong business that grows. Because imagine if you have a business that's struggling. Let's say you're donating like 1% of your proceeds to some cause. Maybe that's a little too cheap. You will say, you're a cheapo, 1%. For our example, I'm going to raise it to 5%. I actually donate money. But anyway, let's say 5% now, not cheap. But what if your business only makes like $1,000 profit? Wow, amazing. You're giving $50. That's really going to make a huge difference. Congratulations. Here's your medal. Here's everything. No, what you really want to do is, it's going to sound capitalistic, but you want a money and profit hungry business because you want to grow your business. Because imagine if instead of $1,000 profit, which is not even a real business, it's kind of a side thing. What if you make millions, billions, $1 billion? What's 5% of $1 billion? I think if I'm not, is it 5 million, 50 million? It's a lot of millions. Counting on the fly, not my thing. In any case, it's millions. Of course, that's going to make a bigger impact for the reindeer, for whatever cause you choose. That's what you should focus on. So if you start focusing too early on the social entrepreneurship, the do-gooder part too early, that misses the point. And you're actually going to create less impact. If you create a fundamentally strong business, like forget the impact, first focus on creating a fundamentally strong business that has just the elements of a business. Revenue, profit, good margins, growth, this kind of boring, like not saving the reindeer today, but then that business grows and you can do so much for the reindeer. Of course, there's an element that's in between these somehow. is that you can get publicity like Tom's Shoes. You can get publicity and get known for it. And in order to do that, it's a little hard because, you see, when they did it, Tom's, they were early in this and they got a lot of publicity. And then there was a second company and a third company and a fourth company. And by the time it's the fifth company, it started to sound a little old. Like I see these Super Bowl commercials and they're like selling trucks or candy. And they're like, we are helping make the world a better place, one piece of candy at a time. The reindeer will, right? And people are watching these stupid commercials and they're thinking, you're a liar. You're just pandering to what the audience wants to hear. Or like a credit card company, making a commercial for themselves and they're like, we're helping the reindeer. No, you're not. You're actually overcharging small businesses with high fees and making their life harder, right? You're still evil, kind of, credit card company. So you don't want to do pandering and be disingenuous because that's going to turn people off. So here is a really good strategy that will balance everything. Instead of like, I'm selling shoes and helping the reindeer, which doesn't really align. What you want to do is find a way to align things. Here's an example. Patagonia, the outdoors company, they create outdoor gear. Outdoor, green, nature, earth, right? They have an initiative where they create a lot of their gear from recycled materials, meaning they reuse and they recycle, which is known as it's preferred to getting new. And so, because of that alignment, okay, their audience probably cares about the environment because they're going outdoors, or it's true that a lot of their audience really cares about that. So Patagonia created an initiative that is social entrepreneurship, but within their niche. So whatever your field is, whatever your industry, your niche is, don't be like, I'm saving the reindeer. Sure, you can donate to the reindeer, no worries. But what you really want to do, if you want publicity and if you want to grow through that attention that the publicity is going to get you, align that initiative, the social entrepreneurship component of your business, with what your business currently does. If you sell pet food, do something good for the pets also. If you sell clothing, have clothing recycling. Whatever. If you teach like me, maybe open up a little learning center, something for free, have a free thing on the side for learning for like disadvantaged people. Or think even more creatively than these examples, but they have to align so that your main audience, your customers, will see, oh, well, we care about this thing and you're doing more good in this field. We know people in this field. We are also in this field. We'd like to help and get the word out about this field. Let's talk about it to people who we know who are also into this field. And then you have synergy where your social good is good, but also gets you so much attention that your business grows, gets a lot of extra attention and publicity for essentially that free. And because your business grows, you're able to give more to your cause. That's how you align or add the social entrepreneurship component to your existing business while growing your business and creating more value for your cause.